I'm Tim Herrera with the Sacramento County Office of Education, here with another Teacher of the Year profile for you, and we're visiting now with Bob Crongeyer, who is the Teacher of the Year for the Robles School District. Welcome.
Thank you.
And congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us where you teach and tell us what you teach.
I teach in the Robles School District at Taylor Street School, and I teach, it seems like it would be an easy answer, but actually I've taught first through sixth grades over the years, team taught with Jeanette Kojka for 17 of those years. Last year I taught sixth grade. This year I'm going to be teaching third through sixth grade GATE, just language arts and social studies.
Wow.
And I do that, and there's more, and I do that 4 days a week. And then my fifth day, I am co-director of the Area 3 Writing Project at UC Davis. And so on Friday, that's my day to work with teachers.
Well, tell us about the Writing Project.
The Writing Project was started in Berkeley 30 years ago, and it's basically just teachers. We believe that teachers are the best teachers of teachers, and specifically in writing. The model includes an invitational summer institute where teachers who are interested in improving their practice or tend to be more reflective as teachers themselves get together for 4 weeks at UC Davis, and we read a lot of research. We all present demonstration lessons. And we do a lot of writing. And so when they're finished with that, then they're considered to be teacher consultants. And then the teacher consultants are the ones who go out and they do the professional development in districts and schools throughout the area, which includes Sacramento County, but it's actually, we go into Yolo and Sutter and Yuba as well.
And how long have you been doing that?
I've been involved in the Writing Project since 1999, but I've been co-directing for 3 years now.
So you're teaching teachers how to teach writing.
So that's our focus, is writing, and but you know, writing, we believe writing can be the key to unlocking content knowledge in science, social studies, math, as well as in reading and language arts.
So you're teaching the value of communication skills.
Yes,
yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we do it through, as I mentioned, the Invitational Institute, but we also we have teacher inquiry groups, which are groups of teachers who aren't necessarily teacher consultants, who they'll get together and they'll maybe study a book, some educational book that interests them, and maybe look at student work, and they get together periodically and just talk about how they can be better teachers at writing, especially specifically. Then we have teacher research groups where you look at just a practice maybe in the classroom, and then what you can do to, or how that is affecting your teaching, or what you can do to make it better. Often those get published as findings, and sometimes actually do make a difference in how a lot of people end up teaching. We also provide free professional development on these things called Super Saturdays. So they're open to all teachers in the area, and they're held in Davis as well. And those happen about once a month.
So you have a very diverse teaching background.
I do.
So out of all the grade levels you've taught, I'm sure you along the way have found students that are difficult to motivate, even if they're GATE kids. So what are some of the things that you do specifically for some of these kids to motivate them?
Well, I really believe strongly in building a community first. If my kids are thinking about all the things that are going on in their lives that I can't even imagine, but I've had some horrific stories that my kids come in with, and so yeah, they're not motivated to care about verbs or whatever the lesson of the day might be, and so we build community first. So I think that's really important. The kids need to know that the class is really theirs. That, yeah, I'm ultimately the one who's going to have the final say, but they help create the rules and the procedures, and they have occupations that shift periodically, and they get paid for it with Crongeyer cash.
Oh. I'm sure it's very valuable in the classroom.
It's very valuable stuff, yeah.
Now, as far as, and as part of the community, the parents and the families are a part of that community as well. What are some of the things you do to encourage parental involvement, to be part of that?
I got to say, I have a principal who is really great about making sure we get our parents involved. And he did a little thing a couple of years ago where he just made us aware of how often we were communicating with parents. And so we had a tally of like every day, whether we saw them on campus or we called them, or what kind of contact were we having. And it really helped me to just increase that parental involvement. And so I try to make at least four phone calls a day, and then have other contacts throughout the week in other ways. And I think that has been really helpful. We also do, we have parent nights and other ways of getting them involved, but just that little one-to-one I think has been helpful. I also, I will send things to the kids, and I think the parents are very aware when that's happening. So, if they get a card, oh, I can't wait to see you again when spring break is over, that the parents feel good about that too. And it makes them feel involved in their school.
So they feel connected with you.
So they hopefully feel connected, yeah.
So what motivated you to become a teacher?
It was the dittos and the smell of crayons and I'm serious, the construction paper. Yeah. I loved all the procedures. Mrs. King in 3rd grade, I was in love with her. But truly, when I started thinking about what it was I wanted to do, I really did always want to be a teacher. And it really was about the procedures and the stuff. And of course now I realize that that's not what teaching is. And so I am constantly being remotivated to continue being a teacher by just reflecting on, how I can be better. So
you had that one teacher, though, that really kind of sparked your interest in the beginning?
Mrs. King. I mean, she was
Everybody's
awesome.
got a Mrs. King.
Yeah, oh yeah. Mrs. King, there was Mrs. Caldwell in high school, and Mrs. Cooper, who was probably, this big and all shriveled up and old, and but man, she was good, and she got so excited about the classics that we couldn't help but get excited ourselves.
Well, what was your reaction when you learned that you were the Roebler Teacher of the Year?
I was very honored. I mean, gosh, I work with so many exemplary teachers. All of my colleagues are definitely worthy of this or any honor, so I just felt very honored.
So what would you say to folks who are considering teaching as a career, who they might have a Mrs. King in their lives, but what would you say to them to encourage them to be a teacher? Don't
go into it for the construction paper. But truly, if you like to work hard, because that whole idea of that we get all this time off is very deceptive. It's not the reality. If you like to work hard, but like to make a difference in people's lives, then teaching's the profession for you.
Now, when you went into it, did you go into it realizing the challenges involved? Or
no.
You didn't?
No, I mean, I had an inkling, but I really did not understand how deep this profession is and how I could work 24 hours a day and still never get everything done that I want to do, that my brain is, it's just constantly thinking. And no, it's not at all what I expected.
And you find yourself learning more about teaching all the time?
Constantly, from the students and from other teachers and from books, and yeah, and that keeps me motivated, I guess.
Keeps you fresh as a teacher.
I hope, yeah.
Well, congratulations to Bob Crongeyer, who is the Teacher of the Year for 2010 for the Roebler School District. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. All right. Appreciate being here.